Hey, this is WhyBeAre with BeamNG.drive, and today we're going to be taking a look at a map called Australian Dragstrip, which is a fictional drag strip somewhere in Australia, and it's suitable for, imagine this, drag racing. It features a 2-lane drag strip surrounded by a few decorational buildings. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started with this. We got 2 locations we can start at, really. We got left lane and right lane. Yes, we also have one that's called default, but that just chooses randomly between the left and the right lane. In this situation, we got the right lane. So let's just go ahead and do a run with the pickup truck. It's going to take a while because pickup truck, not that fast. Even the 8th mile takes a while. You know, you're used to seeing really fast cars doing quarter miles. That was just an 8th mile. We're only halfway there, except in terms of time, it's much more than halfway because we're going faster and faster and faster. So that last one we just passed, that was the end for the quarter mile. And then this whole section right here is just to slow down, because if you were actually driving a really fast car, you would be going way faster than we're going right now, but we can wait until like the very last second to try to slow down with this thing because it was going so slow. And look at that perfect stop right before it touches the grass. This thing is definitely not a drag vehicle. So how about we go ahead and do a run with a drag vehicle? We'll bring this thing back, and then we're just going to grab the drag version of the Barstow and let it go as fast as it possibly can. And with a car this fast, you'll see why it makes so much sense to have a lot of road after the finish line, because when we cross the finish line, we're going to be going about 170 miles per hour, and it takes a little bit of time for a car to come down from those speeds, because you don't want to really slam on the brakes and potentially lock up the wheels so you start sliding all over the place at 100 plus miles per hour. You want to make sure you slow down nice and safely like I did right there. And you see there's still a lot of road left, so maybe if you were having serious brake fade issues because you've been doing run after run, or maybe if your brakes just completely failed, there would still probably be enough road there for you to slow down on time. That might be something fun to try in a little bit. We do it where we don't use the brakes at all because they've completely failed. In fact, we'll just remove the brakes. That would be interesting. So what would happen then? We'll find out. But first, we're going to drive along this return road right here, because over in this direction, there is a garage area. So if you're one of those people who is so intense about drag racing that after every single pass you got to go and rebuild your engine, well, this is the direction you would be going. Although you wouldn't be driving the car, you'd probably be pushing it along or pulling it, because you don't want to waste the precious engine on just driving along right here. Also, it's worth noting, this is not like a top tier drag car. It's one of the fastest in BeamNG.drive, but this is still a regular car with a roll cage. It's not like the fast real life drag cars where they're just a tube frame chassis that resembles a stock car. It doesn't even look like a stock car, period, because it's such a dedicated drag car. It's just a pretty normal vehicle compared to those things. Anyways, here is just like that area I was talking about. And then over to our left, we can go ahead and do another pass if we wanted to. Now this car, I don't know how well it'll do for a second pass, because if you look at the engine, it is showing a little bit orange, but I don't think it got that badly damaged. I think it's like only at 90% maybe or something. So let's see if it ends up with about the same ending speed as the last one. I'm not really comparing the times because unfortunately there are no way to make those timers on the side work. You would think, oh, maybe there's something you could do. No, they're just there for visuals. So the time we had right there was pretty similar to the last one. And you notice right here, okay, the brakes were still hot from the last run. I'm braking harder than I did last time, and it took a little bit longer to slow down. And now we're going to do the pass with no brakes whatsoever. And to make sure I'm not tempted to hit the brakes if we're going too fast, I'm going to completely remove them. So rear suspension, goodbye rear brakes. And it's also funny to hear racing rear drum brakes. It's like racing drum brakes is one of those things where that doesn't sound right at all, but okay, if you say so. And then we're also going to go to the front brakes and remove those ones as well. That one's actually disc brakes in the front. So now we have no brakes, which would also mean it'd be really hard to do a burnout, because like, you tried to and it just wouldn't work. You see, I'm trying to do a burnout, but I can't really lock the front wheels. So if you're real serious about drag racing and you did a burnout to warm up the wheels, you would notice something was up almost immediately. What if you're like just some casual guy who's like, I don't care about warming up the wheels, I can do fine without it. So they do just that and then they hit the brakes. And then you realize the car's not slowing down. And you freeze up. You don't know what to do. Your brain just turns off. And then it hits you. I'm going to crash. So at the last second, you do a little bit of a swerve, so you can go into the dirt in a way where you hopefully don't crash. And thankfully, the runoff was so long, the dirt was so long, you're able to make it through there without crashing. Sure, you would probably have some suspension damage and your car would be unable to do another run for a while, but you have no significant body damage probably, and your engine is still in tip-top shape. I would gladly take that over the alternative of crashing into a wall and basically breaking everything at over 100 miles per hour. Now, I know you guys are probably wanting a crash out of that, so let's go ahead and make a crash real quickly. We're going to be going about 200 miles per hour on impact, so it's going to be a very brutal crash near the starting line here. Sliding into it. Oh, yep. What happened to the car? Well, you see, the front fell off. The front is not supposed to fall off, yet it fell off. Back to the starting line for something different. We're going to go with a bus. It's like, well, why are you using a bus at a drag strip? Because we got the Hero with the rockets equipped to it. I have no idea if this thing's going to be able to slow down in time because it has so much weight to slow down. We're going to see what happens here. It is slower than the drag car, I'm pretty sure, but not a huge amount in terms of speed. Like, we're going to cross that line at about 170 miles per hour, just like the drag car. We're slamming on the brakes, and I hear things breaking. The brakes are fading. Oh, this is not looking good for the bus. It is going to have to make use of every single inch it can get here, and it's not going to stop. We're going to go to the dirt. See that right there? Everything went according to plan. This thing is just so big and heavy that it couldn't slow down in time. Also, the engine is completely broken, but we still got the thrusters going to move us around, which is kind of funny. I wonder, though, could we put better brakes on this thing to make it slow down before the dirt? I'm pretty sure every stock vehicle has the option to have racing brakes, so we're going to check if that's the same for the bus. So we go to front axle and then front brakes, and we're going to change the premium front brakes to the full race front brakes. Let's see if that makes a difference. And there's only one brake option there, right? Yep. There's no, like, alternative better cooling option or something. Same for this one, right? Just one option. So we're going to go to here and we're going to put the full race rear brake pads on. And we'll see if this will help at all with the brake fade that we experienced past the finish line last time. I'm not sure if it will, to be honest. It might just be there's just simply not enough cooling for the brakes and they overheat and cook themselves. So there's the finish. Then we slam on the brakes. And let's see how it does. The engine has just exploded. That's fine. And it still has the brakes fading. Even though we got the racing ones, which I was hoping would last a little bit longer, it didn't seem like it made a difference. We're going a little bit slower maybe right as we're going to the dirt, but that could just come down to my reaction when I slam on the brakes. It could have been a little bit earlier this time compared to last time. So it still drives, but again, the engine's broke, so we'll just reset it. And why don't we try to do a drag race since we're at a drag strip? We'll race the bus versus the hill climb version of the Sunburst. I think those should be pretty similar in terms of straight line performance. I'm going to put the Hirochi on the correct side of things right here. And I got to make sure they're both lined up. There's no cheating here. So there we go. Hirochi's lined up. Save that spot. And I know the bus ain't lined up. Oh yeah, look at that dirty cheater. Back it up. And a little bit more. Okay, bus is lined up good enough for me. And there's one thing I thought about. The bus, it uses immediate thrust. You hit it and it has rockets. So you didn't really need to rev up the engine because the engine's not doing much. The Sunburst is a little bit different though. When you floor it from a standstill, it kind of just lumbers to get going. But if we take the Sunburst, put it into neutral, rev it up, and then flip it into gear, it launches a lot better. And I think that's going to get us the closest race we can. So let's go ahead and get these things ready. So for Sunburst, rev it up. For bus, we do nothing. And then we're going to put this one into gear and unfreeze physics. And they launch at the exact same time. And we are currently beating the bus. That's pretty good. We beat him in the 8th mile, but the bus is coming back for that quarter mile. Oh, it really came back for the quarter mile. It is gone. Yeah, I don't have as much top line speed like they do, but I did have better acceleration to beat them in the 8th mile. Oh, watching the bus fly is kind of neat. We'll do that with my car too, so we both do it. There we are. Hey, we both caught on fire. That's great. So this tells me the Sunburst needs to be replaced with a faster vehicle. I don't want to jump to a straight up drag car because I'm pretty sure that'll beat the bus easily. So how about we go to the hill climb version of the SBR4? That should again be a pretty close race. So we'll see what happens, and we're going to have to launch the SBR4 in the same exact way. So we're going to put it into neutral, rev it up, go to the bus, start it, and then put it into gear, and go. All right, here we go. I'm taking off the line much, much better than they are. And I have a good lead, and there is the finish line for the quarter mile. I am a good few car lengths ahead of them, but they are coming at me fast, and I tried to block them. I should have known blocking them would have done absolutely nothing, shouldn't I? How fast are they going here? They're going like 230 miles per hour. So here's a dumb test. We know the drag car is faster than the hill climb version of the SBR4. But what about if the track was like a mile long? So we're going to race to the dirt to see who wins here. So I'm going to get the drag version of the Burnside Special, which is a little bit slower than the Moonhawk and the Barstow, I think. And we're going to have a race between these two. And hey, no cheating. I see your taxi cab looking cheating maneuvers right there. Nuh-uh, you got to be lined up properly. There we go. And then the bus is already lined up perfectly. So we'll put it in neutral, rev it up, freeze physics. Bus is ready to go. And then we're going to go ahead and unfreeze physics. We'll see what happens here. Oh, a little bit of a squirrely launch compared to the other ones because it's just rear-wheel drive, unlike the other ones which are all-wheel drive and made it easy. And I know I'm in front of the bus. I'm going to block them. That is my strategy. They're in my lane now. Back to their lane. Oh, this is actually going to be a really close race. Where's the finish? Oh, no, it's not going to be a close race. I'm going to get wrecked. Oh, man, the bus just said, get out of the way. Okay, so we know that the bus is faster than this guy to the finish line. What if we went a little bit faster than that guy, though? We're going to go with the Barstow, which is a little bit of a step up. And if that doesn't work, we'll go with the Moonhawk, which, if I remember correctly, has a little bit of a different gearing setup, which might be a little bit better for this longer runway-style drag racing. It's like, yeah, we're still on a drag strip, but we're driving for such a long distance. It reminds me more of what they do when they're on a runway where they have, you know, the mile-long things. And it's like, how fast can you go in a mile instead of just a quarter mile or the half miles and all that? So anyways, here we go. I don't know what the bus is going to do, but I know what I'm going to do. That's one thing I should mention. I'm racing the bus because the bus has so much mass it can kind of bounce off the walls and be okay, where the other drag cars can't exactly do that and I have to try to control both of them. So we had a good launch and looks like we're going to beat them, right? Although they're gaining on me. How much is left? Oh, we're good. Victory for me by a few car lengths, even though I am like smoking all over the place. Oh, that was cool. They both crashed into that in sync. And they were both like flying through the air in sync. Ha! I don't know how consistent I could do that, but that was pretty cool. If I could do that every time, it's just like a masterpiece of art. Let's see if we can do it twice in a row. Got to make sure I do things the exact same way as last time. So we rev it up, then we get the bus going and then unfreeze physics. I think I got a good launch just like last time. Like the launch last time wasn't great. It was just me flooring it and keeping it straight. That's the same thing I did on this one. I floored it and I kept it straight. Engine's overheating just like last time, but that should make everything line up perfectly, right? Let's find out. There's the dirt, and then there is the impact spot. And once again, they are nicely in sync. That is amazing how well matched they are if that was the finish line. Like it'd be a photo finish every single time pretty much. And then we got the beautiful ballerina stuff they're doing in the air right here. I'm gonna let them fall to the ground, and that'll do it for this video because I can't think of anything cooler to do than that. So until next time, this has been WhyBeAre. I'll see ya.